Yo, welcome guys to another video by Team Shuffle. Today we have our teammate Shaun. He got first place at a local LGS. I can't say their name, so we'll just link it down below. We're gonna go over his deck profile today. How you doing, Shaun?
I'm doing great. Hey guys out there.
Yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and go over the deck. So first, I kind of want to see what you built here. So you don't mind going over all the cards that you've done and explain the choices you've made.
Yeah, for sure. So when I was originally thinking about this deck, I was seeing that green purple was started of shifting down in the meta, and both the tempo, bounce, and the discard variations. And I was thinking there were certain parts in both of the decks that seemed to synergize well. So I was wondering, can I make a hybrid about it? And this is kind of what I've came up with. Obviously, it has the Diablo shift line. We have some pull levers, wrong levers. Top ends, we have the Crickies and Brunos. But for the rest of the stuff on supporting cards, I wanted to kind of accommodate for a little bit of everything in the meta, and it seems to have worked out this way. So when we get to the one drops, obviously we go with our Diablos to start with. I went with 4 of the draw Diablos as well as 3 of the look at hand Diablos. I feel like the look at hand ones, they clutter the hand a little bit much, and I only use them as a tool to look in case I'm up against a bad matchup. Bad matchups for this deck are typically blue purple and steel song, so I wanted to be able to see their hand just so I could plan accordingly. As for the tempo side of it, Curse Merfolk, when it came to the discard part of it, I run 4 of them. I found these synergize really well with the Prince John, so you can leave pressure, but also make sure it takes away from your opponent if they try to retaliate for it. Going on to the 2 drops, everyone has to have usually their 4 Ursula Deceivers. Gets to look at hand, gets valuable information, but also gets rid of songs. And then we go on to 3 of the 2-drop Diablos. These ones are just another target if need be, but also getting a 2-drop 3 power. It really helps out in a lot of things, as well as the evasive just lets you keep on tapping for lore. We have 2 Go-Go's for the end game and a 2-drop if you need it. A lot of things like to sit in the background lately in the meta and wait until they can heal their own damage or deal with it another way. This will help you capitalize just to push that lore a little further. 4 sudden chills, I don't use it as soon as I have it. I typically wait for their hand to get low, utilize the Ursulas just to try to get a foothold and give them less options as you truck forward with tempo. Speaking of which, star of the deck is usually always the 4 Diablo shifts. When it comes to this, I have right around 15 to 17 actions in this just to be sure that I can upshift this Diablo. And in certain circumstances, like against Steel Song, I will even upshift turn 2, even though they have a Storm in hand, just to get rid of it and to give myself more options in cycling cards. Crabs, great way to pump up my evasives, 4 of them. Pump up my evasives to help trade away with Maui half sharks and some of the bigger ones to help take that out and make sure that the evasives fly free and can quest it well. 4 friends just to give myself more options as we progress through the game. When it comes to the 3 drops, I did decide to keep the 3 kits, just so that aggro decks that have a hard time establishing in the later game when we've been trading out, as well as pushing tempo when they pull something. Whenever they play something that gets 2 power or lower, I can play a kit down. If there's one where there's an Amethyst matchup and they play Genie, I can bounce it back to their hand so they can't deal with my evasives, and now they have less of a field. It's a great thing for tempo. Prince John's. It's just two reasons. One, utilizing the discard and gaining benefits off of drawing cards off of that. Secondly, it has ward, so at the end game, if they field wipe or anything like that, I can put it down. It has ward. I can get that little 2 extra lore that help close out games. Something to speed things up, especially when I'm on the draw, is Peter Pan Shadowfinder. I run 2 of, just to have it when I need it, just to give all of my evasives rush. It helps bring down the aggro, so then it brings it an even playing field. And then down here we have 3 pull and 2 wrong lever. I messed around with 4 and 3. It just seemed a little cluttered and in my hand a little too often. When it comes to 4 drops, we move on to 4 genies, 2 Iagos, and actually 2 the Queen Jealous Beauty. The genies are there even though it's 1 card. It's a great way to give lore pressure, just keep the tempo up. Just having it there, as well as a great target for Merlin. If I can have a Peter Pan out and they have against steel matchups, there's a Smee. It goes in quest for the first one, takes a damage. Genie can come in and just clean it up real quick before it gets any more lore. When it comes to Iago, it's just a great bulky bird that's ready to soak up some damage and force them to use a removal in some cases. Now, for the meta currently, I'm really liking the Queen Jealous Beauty. Reason being is for half sharks, I can return their actions to the bottom of their deck, canceling out their challenge ability. I can return princesses to the bottom to gain extra lore. I can return characters. Like if Chernabog shows up, I've seen a couple of them still floating around. As well as I can get rid of popsicles if they didn't have a chance to play the Tamatoa to return those to hand. Just canceling out their cycling and just making them have to work a little bit more for that win. And lastly, we have our 5 drops. I have 2 Crickies, which is really great because once you get wide enough, you can just start clearing boards. I also have these because one issue that I saw in some of the decks were when it came to Sapphire matchups was the McDuck Manners. Now when it came to that, this gives a good 3 pump and can help take those out. Brunos are just a solid card for the late game as you're going and trucking with lore. It's a great way to just remove things that has a threat to your board or a threat to for your opponents to gain lore to gain back in the game. I do not run Elsas in this. This one was very much more of a tempo discard outlet for it. When I came to the realization that maybe I don't need it is because if I'm not pushing the lore enough, I'm not really needing to control the opponent's board. I want them to deal with my board and give them a hard time doing it. And that's a run through the cards right now.
Well, thanks for sharing your deck with us. Was there so what were your matchups? How many rounds was it, and what were your matchups?
Okay, so at this event there was 14 people at this set championship. We went to a cut to top 4. Before the cut, I went 3-0-1. I got my first 3 wins, and then I decided to ID with my last opponent. We were going to be in first, second seat anyway. With the bad matchups, like I was saying before, when it came to like Steel Song, the aggro version, this plays a little better towards that compared to the Steel Song one. But the other one is Blurple. I did face the same Blurple deck twice, one during the original 3, and then one in the top 4. The same deck and same player. And the other one, I did actually play against a Steel Song deck. When it comes to Steel Song, there's 2 ways of running it, and either one is a coin flip, even though it's statistically a bad matchup for me. It's either going toe-to-toe with them and just dragging it out till one of us runs out of cards and then the other one takes over, or it's trying to be as strategic as possible with Ursula Deceivers, wrong levers, and Bruno's, just to be sure they're just shy of singing that whole new world to refill their hand, that they have to pay it out of the inkwell. And it's just kind of going from there. Putting pressure, make sure that they deal with you and not set up their own board is certainly a strategy for that. And same thing for Blurple, is because they're going to be ramping, which sometimes that takes stuff out of their hand, or in other ways. And that's going to reduce their hand, and then just capitalizing using the discard to where they can't ramp further without sacrificing the play for turn. And that's really how I got around that. Just trying to keep up my power and evasiveness and dealing with whatever evasives they had.
Yeah, well, it's really exciting to see you. You've been running Amethyst Emerald for, I'll say 4 sets now, if I'm not mistaken. So it's pretty cool seeing how you always adjust to the meta, regardless of how difficult Amethyst Emerald usually has it sometimes. I would say this is probably one of the lower points, but you stuck with it and you have found a way to make it work, and it's always so exciting to see you deck build. I always enjoy when you bring the you know what is it, the jank, so you always bring
Yeah.
that jank in, you're pretty much a jank master, and you throw people for a loop. So thank you for your time today, Shaun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, is there anything you want to say or anything you want to plug before I let you go?
Not really anything to plug. I just want to say it's like, yes, I have been playing Emerald Amethyst since set one. It just seems like a very versatile thing. I've just loved how it is. When it comes to competitive, I'm not really. It's, yes, it is there nice to win. I just always wanted to do it my way, and I'm an anxious person. I like to strategize for everything, but I just never really found another color that kind of does that. It's been very it's been very generous to me about that, and just they keep printing cards that just, it gives me another answer for something else. I'd love to see the meta evolve into something that's far more varied, but I'm also ready to see those cards that have far more variance.
All right, thank you for your time today, Shaun.
All right, thank you.